Hi everybody, Saturday, June 15th, 2019. A couple tricks with cut comb honey. When you get a frame, there's a couple things about this. You want to use foundation, cut comb foundation, and you take a frame and you wax it in so it hangs down in the frame. Leave it to where it's about a 1/4 inch shy of the bottom. The bees are going to hang on that as they draw it. Sometimes they get a little creative. Sometimes we end up with a big thick piece like that. Well, that big chunk of cut comb honey is too thick to fit in boxes. We'll slice that off, put it in jars, and add honey and call it chunk honey. The cut comb pieces. Now if you zoom in here, if you look at, see that little spot there? That is just a piece of propolis. And in the hive, if you look on the frame, we've also got a little bit of propolis on here as well, right here on these edges. But the first trick is, give them foundation that hangs down like that. Don't let it touch the bottom. Let the bees hang on it and pull it straight. Then, after the nectar flow is started, it's on. You come in and you take your honey box and that's above your brood nest, lift it off and add this box with this cut comb foundation. Put it on there, violate their bee space. Then you're going to want to keep an eye on it. You don't want to use any smoke on your cut comb honey. When it comes time to get the bees out, use a blower. You also, as soon as it's ready, you want to come in and pull it out. See, the idea is it avoids travel stains, because if it's in the hive too long, then the travel stains get, it starts getting dark. Also, if we were doing this for competition, these are nice, beautiful cases. These cases, it's so weird because you can't get everything from one place. The cases come from Dayton. The labels come from Better Bee, which are actually hog half comb labels. But those labels just go on here and seal it off and just dress it up just so nice. But if we were doing then also when you harvest it, as soon as it's ready, as soon as it's all capped, put it in the freezer, 48 hours minimum. And what that does is, if by chance at night there was a wax moth that flew into the hive, laid an egg, and then the bees ran it off. Well, if that egg's in there and you go and put it in this case, by freezing it, it makes sure it completely stops that entire process. That egg would be dead and it would never ever do anything. Also for competition, something like this here, or hold it up to the light. Hold it up to the light and make sure that they didn't come in, they put a piece of pollen, they filled a couple cells with pollen, then added nectar and brought it down to honey and capped it off, and you got chunks of pollen in there. So you got to watch for that. Then also, you would want to take your knife and you would want to have a pan of hot water, and you'll dip. And so you got a hot knife, and as you're cutting, you come in and really carefully and slowly use a really thin, super sharp knife. And if it's hot, so as you're cutting, you preserve that texture of that comb. Then let them sit here and let them drain. Let any loose honey drain out of there for anywhere from 24 to 48 hours. Then you put it in your case. So there's a couple tricks. Don't use smoke to avoid any smells. Don't let them rob it out. When you pull this box off, if you got any robbing season, any dearth going, keep the wild bees away from it, because they will start messing it up. Watch for travel stains. And then for competition, it would be just absolutely perfect. If you see here, there's this here. This one here, if I cut it, if I would have taken a little more time and not broke a couple of those cappings, that would be a really beautiful piece. This one here would not, because you've got a couple cells that are open. They weren't completely capped, just a couple cells. And you've also got a little piece of propolis right here. So this one here would be no good for competition. Now, if that's all you had and that was your only entry for a kid in 4-H, any one of these would probably get him a ribbon, I would think, I would hope. But anyway, so there's just a few little tricks and tips with cut comb honey. Thanks for watching, everybody.